Hey everyone, and welcome back to Fluent and Forward. I'm Emma, and I am so happy you're spending your time with us today. You know, Liam, I was thinking this morning about how we all want to be good people, but sometimes being good feels really exhausting.
I totally hear you, Emma. It's that feeling when you try to be kind to everyone, you give out all this positive energy, but somehow it just doesn't come back to you.
Exactly. You find yourself wondering, why are people so comfortable with disrespecting me? It happens at work, with friends, and even in our closest relationships. It's like they say things to us that they would never dare to say to anyone else.
It's a tough spot to be in. And I think today's topic is going to resonate with a lot of our listeners. How to gain respect in relationships without being mean. Because, let's be honest, nobody wants to be a jerk, but nobody wants to be a doormat either.
A doormat. That's exactly what it feels like. We're going to dive into why this happens and how we can turn it around. So grab your coffee, get cozy, and let's get into the heart of it.
So, Emma, let's start with the why. Why do we get stuck in this cycle of being disrespected?
Well, I think it's because many of us are kind without boundaries. We think being nice means accepting everything, but when we accept bad behavior, we're basically telling people, it's okay to treat me this way, I'll still stay.
Ooh, that hits deep. It's almost like we're training people to use us. I remember you mentioned a metaphor once, something about a garbage bag.
Oh yeah, it's a bit harsh, but if we have no boundaries, we're like a garbage bag. People just throw their bad moods, their mean comments, and their lack of effort into us because they know we'll just take it.
And the crazy part is, humans are a little animalistic in their minds. We naturally test how far we can go with someone. If a partner calls you a mean name at the start of a relationship and you just accept it, they think, okay, I can go further. How much more power can I have here?
It's a power struggle we don't even realize we're in. And then when we finally decide to stand up for ourselves, that's when the drama starts. Suddenly, we're the bad guy.
Oh, I've been there. The moment you say no, people start calling you selfish or vain. They ask, how dare you change?
Exactly. But we have to remember that the people calling us selfish are usually the same ones who benefited from us having no boundaries. They're used to being bad to us, so they get offended when we stop allowing it.
That's a huge wake-up call for anyone listening. If someone is mad that you have boundaries, they probably aren't the kind of person who has your best interest at heart. They just miss the version of you they could use.
It makes you feel so insecure and bad about yourself when you allow that degradation to continue. But the truth is, you aren't a bad person for saying no. Say it with me. I am not a bad person for putting up boundaries.
And that is where the shift begins. Respect isn't something you beg for. It's something you build by respecting yourself first. Once you change how you see your own value, the world around you starts to notice the change in the air.
Welcome back. Now let's get into the how-to part of this conversation. Liam, I think one of the scariest things about gaining respect is that first moment when someone tests you. You know that feeling? Emma adjusts her headset and leans in. You're in a new relationship or a new job, and suddenly someone says something a little off.
Oh, I know it well. It's like they're checking the temperature of the room. They want to see how much power they can have over you. It's actually quite animalistic if you think about it. Humans are always looking for the limit.
Exactly. And the mistake most of us make, especially if we are nice people, is that we just accept it the first time. We think, oh, they're just in a bad mood, or maybe I'm overreacting. But if you accept a mean word or a disrespectful comment at the beginning, that person thinks you don't have a problem with it.
Right, and then it goes further and further. It grows until it becomes a habit of abuse. So what should we do instead, Emma? Because you mentioned something in our notes about creating drama. That sounds a bit intense for a nice person.
It does, but sometimes you have to create such a drama that you basically traumatize that person into never doing it again. I don't mean screaming or being crazy, but I mean making it a big deal. You have to show them that you will overreact in a way they didn't expect.
I love that. It's like setting a loud alarm. If they touch the boundary, the alarm goes off. They realize, okay, I can't do that with Liam ever again. It makes them think twice.
Exactly. It's about being serious. Another thing people do to test us is asking personal questions when it's not required. Have you ever had a stranger or even a family member ask you something like, "How do you get your money?" or "Who are you dating?"
All the time. People love to fish for information. And because we want to be polite, we feel forced to answer. We start oversharing, and then we come home and feel bad about it.
Yes, and then those people take what you said, add 700 things on top of it, and put it in a mixer. Suddenly, everyone is talking about a version of your life that isn't even true.
Oof, the mixer. That's a scary thought. So, how do we stop the mixer before it starts?
You just say, "I don't feel comfortable talking about my personal life with you." It is that simple. You don't have to force yourself to share anything just to be nice. Be very careful with what you give people.
That's so empowering. I'm not comfortable with that. It's a complete sentence. You don't even need to explain why. But Emma, what about those people who hide their disrespect in a joke? They say something mean and then say, "Oh, I was just kidding."
Those are the worst, Liam. Bullying isn't funny to the person on the receiving end. When someone says something offensive as a joke, I always ask them, "Why would you say that?"
I like that. It forces them to explain the joke. And usually there's nothing funny about it. It makes them realize that I don't think they're funny, I think they're being disrespectful.
Right. You have to wonder what is going on in their head that they think it's normal to talk to you like that. If that person was in a room with someone they truly respected or looked up to, would they use that same joke?
Probably not. They only do it because they think you're beneath them or they don't value you. It's a way of looking down on you.
I remember a story about a woman whose boyfriend said something really offensive. She told him, "Take your phone, call your mom right now, and say the same thing to her."
Whoa, that is a bold move. Did he do it?
Of course not. He was like, "No, what the?" But it made him realize how bad his words were. He immediately apologized. You have to put people in their place immediately.
I'm going to remember the mom test. That's brilliant. But let's talk about another boundary, time. Have you ever waited for someone who was late and you just sat there feeling like your time didn't matter?
Yes, it happened to me a few years ago with two friends. They invited me to a restaurant, I was on time, and they showed up an hour and a half late. They were literally flirting with guys while I was sitting there alone.
An hour and a half? Emma, I would have left after 15 minutes.
I know. I felt so uncomfortable sitting there alone. I could have been at home working on my YouTube videos or just enjoying my own company. That moment showed me they didn't respect me or my time.
And that's the thing. If you love your own company, you don't settle for people who make you feel miserable. If you're going to meet someone, they have to give you a better life than the one you have by yourself.
Exactly. Why should we be the ones to settle? There are 8 billion people on this earth. God didn't choose you to struggle or settle for disrespect. You make yourself struggle because you think you don't deserve better.
That's a deep truth. We accept the respect we think we deserve. If we don't respect ourselves, we wait 90 minutes for people who don't care.
It's true. And even when we're in a fight, we need to have boundaries. A lot of people feel like they have to fix it right then and there. But if you're emotional, you might say things you regret.
I'm the same way. I need space to recollect my thoughts. I need to think about what I did wrong and what the other person did wrong before I can talk.
And it's okay to say, "Hey, can I have some space to think? I'll come back when I'm ready." That is a healthy boundary. You're protecting the relationship by not speaking from an emotional standpoint.
It's also about protecting your mental health. Some people expect you to be their therapist 24/7. They want to tell you their misery all the time.
I used to have this issue so badly. I felt bad if I didn't listen. But hearing traumatizing stories all day is detrimental to your own health. It starts to traumatize you because you feel their feelings.
You have to have the space and capability to listen. If you're trying to have a good day and someone is constantly bringing up the same old problems, you have to speak up.
You can suggest they look for a professional therapist instead. It's not your job to fix everyone, Liam. We have to be intentional with our energy.
Intentional. I like that. So we've covered a lot. Creating drama when boundaries are tested, staying private, calling out jokes, and protecting our time and mental space.
It's a lot to take in, but remember, you're not a bad person for any of this. You're just a person who finally respects themselves.
And that self-respect is the foundation for every healthy relationship you'll ever have. If you don't hold your ground, nobody will hold it for you.
All right, Liam, we've talked about those first tests and why we shouldn't overshare, but let's get into a rule that changed my entire life. It's so simple. Give people what they give you.
Oof, that's a big one. It's that trap of thinking that if we just do more, they will finally see our value. But the reality is, if they don't see your value now, they never will. You can't beg someone to see how amazing you are.
Exactly. You cannot make them see it because they simply don't have the eyes for it. I used to be the person who went crazy for everyone's birthday. Huge gifts, detailed plans, so much effort. And then when it came to my birthday, those same friends didn't do a single thing for me. It was so disrespectful, and I felt so bad.
That sounds so painful. It's incredibly disrespectful when you put so much love into someone and they give you zero effort back. It's like you're fueling a car that's not even yours.
Emma nods. It really was, so I just stopped doing that. Now I give them exactly what they give me. If you don't call, I don't call. If you don't text, I don't text. It's not about being mean, it's about being fair to myself.
Reciprocity. That's a powerful word. It's about a two-way street. If the road is only moving in one direction, you're not in a relationship. You're being used.
And when you start pulling back, you have to be ready for the consequences. If you say you don't like something and they still do it, you have to remove your presence. You have to show with your actions that you're actually serious about defending yourself.
That's the hardest part for most people, actually leaving. But if you say, I didn't like that, but you're all good with them 1 minute later, your words don't matter. They know there are no consequences for treating you that way.
Right. They're going to do the same thing again. You have to give people consequences so they know in their head, oh my God, if I behave this way, I know Emma will do this. You have to be serious.
It's like we have to train people how to treat us. Humans are still a little animalistic, like we said. They will always test how much power they can have over you.
Exactly. Think about dating. If a guy claims to be so interested but says, hey, come over in 1 hour to my house, don't go. That invite is actually so disrespectful.
It really is. It shows he put no effort into going on a date with you. If you show up for those last-minute, no-effort plans, you look desperate. And honestly, that's just off-putting.
It's super desperate. I always tell people, if you want princess treatment, you have to set those boundaries from the beginning. In my relationships, everyone knew, either you give me effort or I'm not with you.
I love that. It's not about being spoiled. It's about self-respect. It's about saying, nope, you didn't plan a date, so I'm not coming. It's a form of self-respect.
This applies to work too, Liam. Imagine your boss always calls you and you're always the one to pick up and say, okay, I will fill in for them. Your coworkers and your boss won't respect you because they know they can always count on you to do the hard stuff.
They start to think of you as a garbage bag. They just dump the work on you because they know you won't say no. Why do we let ourselves be treated that way?
Because we think saying no makes us a bad person, but we have to say it together. I am not a bad person for saying no. I am not a bad person for putting up boundaries.
It's actually a sign that you respect yourself. And once you truly respect yourself, the people around you will start respecting you too. It's a natural reaction.
Emma sips her tea. But we have to start small. I remember the first time I spoke up was at a hair salon. Usually when they ask, do you like your hair? I would say, oh yeah, it's nice.
even if I hated it and felt bad when I came home.
We've all been there, smiling while secretly wanting to cry. So what changed for you?
I just started being honest. I would say, I don't like it, or no, I don't think it was great. I still pay for the service, but being honest gives me the confidence to voice my opinion more and more.
That is the perfect starting point. You practice in low-pressure situations so that when a toxic person tries to use you, you're ready. You've already built that muscle.
Right, because toxic people will blame you for your reaction, but they will never blame themselves for the way they act. They want to control you and make nothing of you.
And then when they're done, they throw you away like you're nothing. They leave you with the trauma and move on. That's why we have to prevent that from happening.
We have to choose who we surround ourselves with. Out of 8 billion people on Earth, why should you be the one to settle for people who make you feel miserable? It doesn't make sense.
Exactly. If those people who don't respect you leave your life, it's okay. Someone else who will make you happy will come along. You deserve good people around you.
Don't listen to the people who talk about loyalty while they're being disrespectful. Where is their loyalty when they're talking down to you? It's always the person on the receiving end who has to be loyal.
That is such a double standard. True loyalty is a two-way street, just like respect. You owe it to yourself to walk away.
It's much better to be regarded as a bad guy but be respected than to let people walk all over you and come home feeling bad about yourself. You'll only feel insecure if you allow people to degrade you.
You will never get the approval of people who want to use you anyway. You could be the best person on earth, and they will still say you're the worst person ever.
So start somewhere today. Stop using excuses for people. Don't believe words over actions. Look at the evidence.
Believe actions over words every single time, because lying is easy, but actions tell the truth about how someone really feels. That's the evidence you need to hold your ground.
We have talked about the actions you can take, but now I want to talk about what's happening inside your head. It's the mindset. Liam, have you ever met someone who just agrees with everything you say, even if it doesn't make sense?
Oh, definitely. It's like they're a mirror. If I said the sky was purple today, they'd probably say, you know what? You're right. It does look a bit purple.
Exactly. And that is a huge respect killer. If you are so easily manipulated that you change your opinion just to fit in, people will never take you seriously. You have to have your own perspective on life.
I totally agree. It's okay to say, no, I don't think so. I think the sky is blue. That's your opinion, and you have a right to it. You don't need to argue or be angry. You just need to stand by your own beliefs.
It's actually really beautiful to stand out. You don't have to copy everyone else just to fit in. When you create your own path and stick to your values, like saying no to things like drinking or smoking if you don't want to, people actually respect you more for that.
It shows you have a strong inner compass. But there's another trap we have to watch out for, believing words over actions. We often make excuses for people because they say they love us or they say they'll change.
Words are so easy, Liam. If someone is toxic, they can lie all day to get what they want. But you have to be like a judge in a courtroom. A judge doesn't just listen to what the person says, they look at the evidence.
That is such a powerful image. If the evidence shows they treat you like trash, then it doesn't matter how many times they say, I love you. The evidence tells the truth.
It really does. And honestly, it's much better to be seen as the bad guy or a bitch and have people respect your boundaries than to be the nice person who goes home and feels insecure every night because they let people walk all over them.
And for everyone listening who feels like they are struggling right now, please hear this. You are not a victim. Out of 8 billion people, you were not chosen to settle for misery. You deserve to have good, respectful people around you.
You really do. If you start respecting yourself today, the wrong people might leave, but the right people, the ones who truly value you, will finally have the space to come into your life.
It's about alignment. When your thoughts, your words, and your actions are all on the same team, you don't have to pretend to be confident. You just are. And that's the most respected version of you there is.
It's time for my favorite part of the show, the word tour. This is where we take 5 powerful words or phrases from our conversation and break them down so you can use them in your own life. I tap my notebook excitedly. Are you ready, Liam?
I am definitely ready. These words aren't just great for your English, they're actually tools for your life. Let's start with the first one, which is a word we used a lot today, boundaries.
Boundaries. Think of a boundary like a fence around your house. It tells people where they are allowed to go and where they need to stop. In the text, it says that being kind without boundaries is a major problem because people will start to use or even abuse you if they feel you will always stay no matter what they do.
Exactly. You can be a very kind person, but you still need that fence. If you feel you need to work on your boundaries, the speaker even suggests talking to a professional, like through therapy. It's about protecting your space.
That's a great explanation. Our second word is disrespectful. This is the opposite of respect. It's when someone treats you like you're not important or like your feelings don't matter.
A perfect example from our talk was the last-minute, no-effort plans. If someone asks you to come over just 1 hour before, that is actually so disrespectful. It shows they don't value your time or your presence. They just want you to be available whenever they're bored.
Yeah, it's a very off-putting behavior. Moving on to word number 3, and this one is a bit of a mouthful, reciprocate. To reciprocate means to give back the same thing that someone gave to you. It's about balance.
I love this concept. The text says we shouldn't always go above and beyond for people who don't do the same for us. If they don't call, you don't call. If they don't plan, you don't show up. You start giving them exactly what they give you. That is how you stop feeling used.
It's so true. If you're the only one putting in effort, it's not a relationship. Okay, word number 4 is consequences. A consequence is the result of an action. If someone treats you badly, there must be a result.
This is where many nice people fail. They say they don't like a behavior, but then they don't give any consequences. The text tells us that we have to give people consequences so they know that if they behave badly, we will remove our presence. Without consequences, people will just keep doing the same thing because they know you'll accept it.
It's about being serious. And finally, our last word for today is self-respect. This is the foundation of everything we talked about. Self-respect is the act of valuing yourself enough to say no to things that hurt you or don't align with your values.
I love that. Loyal to yourself. What a great way to end the word tour. These 5 words, boundaries, disrespectful, reciprocate, consequences, and self-respect, are your new vocabulary for a better life.
Use them, practice them, and most importantly, live them. You'll be surprised at how much your English and your relationships will improve. We have reached the end of today's episode, but it's really just the beginning of your journey towards being more respected. Liam, what's your final thought for our listeners who might be feeling a bit nervous about setting their first boundary?
I think it's important to remember that you don't need everyone to like you. It is much better to be respected for who you are than to be liked for being a version of yourself that everyone can walk over. If you allow people to constantly degrade you, you will only feel insecure.
That is so true. It feels scary at first, and people might call you mean or selfish, but they will think twice before they put you through that again. You are teaching them how to value you by valuing yourself first. You aren't being a bad person for saying no.
Exactly. And don't forget, if you struggle with this, just start somewhere small today. You don't have to change your whole life in one day. Just one honest opinion or one protected hour of your time is a huge victory.
We would love to hear from you in the comments. What is one small step you're taking this week to protect your energy? Your story might be exactly what someone else needs to hear to start their own journey.
If you enjoyed this conversation, please subscribe and share it with a friend who needs a little boost in their self-respect. We are so proud of you for showing up for yourself today. This is Emma and Liam, and you've been listening to Fluent and Forward. Take care of your peace, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye.